Hi, everyone, and welcome to our second interview of 2024. We are super excited tonight because we are blessed to be joined by the Los Angeles psychic medium. He's also an energetic healer and YouTube personality, Mr. Brett Carstens. Thank you for coming tonight and talking with us.
Thanks for having me. This is cool. This ought to be fun. I mean, paranormal stuff. We can't go wrong, right?
Right?
Never.
Yeah. I think we're going to have some interesting conversations tonight.
Sounds good.
For sure. So right off the bat, I mean, we have an hour, so we're going to get right into it, if that's cool with you. And we're going to start our Q&A with Miss Brittany.
Me? Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. For anyone who doesn't know who you are, because we did our research. How did you know you were a psychic medium? And was there a particular moment in time that triggered this, or was it a gradual, hill?
Well, it's funny because I think, I think everybody is psychic for one thing, but I think everybody has different abilities or different skills, and the older you get, the less likely you are to be able to probably continue whatever it is, because society's like, no, you're imagining something. No, you didn't actually see something. Everybody just immediately disregards any sort of psychic impressions that people get. You're allowed to have feelings. That's one thing you're allowed to do when you're a kid. You can feel this way or feel that way. So empathy seems to survive a little bit longer. So people are empathic a lot longer than everything else. But I see and hear things also. I've got basically everything. I can get all of it. And so when I was a little kid, I had spirits come to me and ghosts come to me, and it just scared me. And I didn't think much of it until later on in my life. I've always been into the paranormal. I've always been into cryptids, UFOs, everything outside the norm, everything outside the mainstream. So I've always been interested in following it, but I haven't really I didn't really realize that I was psychic until much later, when I started doing paranormal investigations and stuff. When ghost hunters first came on TV, I was like, what? People do this? This is a thing? This is what I've been doing anyway. So it got popular, and I would go out with other groups and stuff, and they would have a psychic or a medium come with them, and they would do something, and I'd be like, oh, that's what you're doing? Oh, okay, let me just do that. And so I would do whatever they would do. I could just oh, well, yeah, this is this is the impression I'm getting. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm hearing, all of that stuff. So it was kind of easy to just kind of roll right into it. And then probably about 2012, I had an experience with, this is where I go rocketing out into the whole okay, it's going to take some getting used to here. But I had an experience with angels and demons in about 2012. And before that experience, I was like, oh yeah, it's just a figurative idea. It's a way to, for religions to explain things, or, I don't know, it's allegory. Nope, they're real beings on the other side. And so that kind of threw me right into the deep end, instead of kind of, wading casually through it. I was immediately having to really face everything. And I mean, things were terrifying for quite a while with that kind of experience, but now it's just my reality. It's where I am. So
So
I think I went everywhere, but just answering the question, I think, with that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
But it sounds like, as you attributed, so many people lose those abilities because as they get older, society kind of programs us to lose it, right? But it sounds like you had the support system that allowed you to continue to grow that.
Yes, very observant there. My family, Well, we lived in a haunted house, or well, actually, it was both. I think people attract spirits to them. Like if you're psychic and you're lit up, you will attract spirits. So people are haunted probably more than spaces, more than haunted locations. But I lived in a really weird house and it was haunted. And then I think with me being lit up as a little kid, that also attracted spirits. So the whole family would see ghosts and have these weird experiences and stuff. And so that made it a lot easier to recognize and accept the things that I was experiencing. Although nobody actually called it psychic or anything, it was just weird stuff I did or my weird perceptions.
Weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it, whatever.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's just Brett.
That's very, very right on, I think, with that statement. It's like, yeah,
That's
eye
interesting though,
rolling.
because usually not the whole, like most stories I feel like I've ever heard, most family members don't see or have like a moment with energies. It's usually like one or two family members, and then others might like put it to the side and be like, no, that's not a paranormal experience, you know? So it's like probably denial mixed with, you know, maybe certain energies don't want or can't get to certain people as easy as others.
I think you're right about the denial. Like people, it's crazy the amount of denial that goes on with people will see something and it's like everybody right there is like, did you see that? And everybody's like, yeah, that was nuts. And then you ask them like 10 minutes later and they're like, I think I had something in my eye, or like, oh, it was the light from a car driving by or whatever. And it's like, dude, the thing had a face and it looked at us and it waved and like it's there.
It was a
So
whole thing.
yeah, yeah. And
It's funny
I've
how people can rationalize anything away.
yeah, and then I think, and this is a thing that um I feel like I'm the only one like um really pointing this out, but there's an elusive nature to all of this phenomena, whether it's UFOs or Bigfoot or ghosts or angels or demons or what fairies, whatever. There's an elusive quality to it, and um, like I took photos of a UFO once, and I had a series of photos, and I was I was riding my motorcycle behind one of my friends who was on his bike, and I was holding the camera and just going click, 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 trying to get cool shots of him riding because, I mean, everybody wants their motorcycle shots, right? So I took all these shots, and I looked at it later when we stopped, and there's a UFO up in the corner. It's like blue skies with a UFO, like disc shaped UFO. And I'm flipping through and I'm like, there are like 7 shots where there's this disc in the air above him. And I didn't notice it while we were riding. I don't know if it was invisible or if um, like I was just busy riding and trying to take photos, so I wasn't really paying much attention, but it's right there. So I looked at it in the like previewing it on the camera, and then I went to show him, and I show him the same 7 shots, and there's nothing there. It's gone. Blue skies. And so I've had that happen with photos. With video, I've recorded EVPs, and it's like very distinct, like somebody speaking in German and saying, I'm going up and all this stuff. I mean, I had to look up Google Translate to figure out what it was saying and stuff. And I played it for my wife and she heard it, and we were both trying to like, is that what it's saying and all this? So we listened to this EVP for a long time, like many times. And then I go back, this is like 5 minutes later or whatever, and I play it again, and it's like me sneezing or something. And it's like, that's not what it was. It totally changed. It's something else now. And my wife listened to it too, and she's like, that's crazy. But I think we've all had this kind of thing happen. And It takes a while to realize that it's happening, but like EVPs will change, and like audio and video, things will get erased, things will disappear, or they like just totally will not show up on the camera, or we'll have like glitches with video and stuff like that. And so they can control like what we think of as time and space or whatever, because it seems like they're going back and erasing things or something. Like security cameras will glitch or short out for a time when something is going through. Trail cams, same kind of thing. Like they won't capture whatever it is. So I don't know. It's this elusive nature, and it's with everything, UFOs, all that stuff. Oh, and then another part of it is like the mental part. People will totally forget. Like they'll see a UFO or they'll see something like a big deal thing, like whoa, Bigfoot tracks or something, and then they will totally forget about it for 20 years or something like that. And then something sparks their memory, and they're like, wait, like I was there in the cockpit while this stuff was happening and saw this UFO or whatever. So it's like there's some weird stuff going on there.
Definitely.
Sure.
So, have you had EVPs change or disappear or things like that?
Not yet for me.
I have. I had a EVP. I did an investigation, and I was doing an experiment with cards, and I was putting shapes in different rooms. And I said, can you tell me what shape is in the hallway? And clear as a bell came out. It's a square, and it was right. And I played it back. We heard it. Everybody in the investigative group heard it. I went downstairs and rejoined with everybody else, and I was like, "Listen to this awesome EVP." Nothing. It was gone. We kept going back and forth. To this day, we can't find it, but there were at least 4 or 5 of us that heard distinctly more than once hear it say, it's a square, clear as a bell. And then by the time we went from the first floor, the second landing, all the way into the common area, it was completely gone.
It's like they're just messing with you, right?
Yeah.
It's like these ghosties are like, watch this, guys. I'm going to take it away.
I feel like it's
guessing the square was good. Wait.
I feel like they aren't messing. They aren't messing with us as much as like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Like I am not supposed to be doing this, and it's going to go on my record or whatever. The ghosts are like, oh, no, this is like, I can get in trouble for this, or they can get in trouble for this. Right. So like, that's my guess. I don't know.
But trouble from who? Because it's like, do you think they have like afterlife managers and supervisors that are like, you broke the rules?
You never know.
I don't know. I've had the angel experiences and stuff like that. And I know that heaven is real. I've seen this. I've gotten a chance to see like just a glimpse of some of these things. And so I know they're real. And so my thinking is like, there are like heaven has rules and stuff. And so like spirits try not to be recorded. They try not to be on video and stuff like that. And I don't know if they're trying to protect us or trying to protect them from getting in trouble. And I feel like that's different than that elusive nature where it's like you didn't see anything. Like,
interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know.
We're not the ghost you're looking for.
Exactly. I was like, what is it? What is he saying? Yeah. That's it.
That's funny.
I love it.
I always just chalk it up. Like if I think I hear an EVP when reviewing audio and then I go back and I just can't hear it anymore, I just chalk it up to me like listening too closely. But maybe that's the reason. Maybe they're like, oh shoot, you weren't meant to hear that.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
I think anything's possible.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like, it's all possible. It's all relevant. And then for you, it was meant for you in that space and time. And then,
right.
It's not 15 minutes. It was specific to that moment in that time and to that space. And It's all relative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be a big part of it too. Like you aren't like some people, I feel like they aren't supposed to have like paranormal experiences or whatever, like because it'll totally sidetrack them from whatever they're trying to do in this life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I can talk to you guys, I can talk to your viewers about this kind of stuff. And, you know, when I mention angels or demons or fairies or something like that, people might roll their eyes, but they probably aren't going to totally shut down and be like, well, I'm out of here. This guy's an idiot. I'm done. They might still think that. I don't know. But
If they're listening to our videos, I doubt it.
But I mean, you're open-minded, so we can entertain these kind of things. But there are some people where it's like going to this point, talking about ghosts or something, or the idea of EVPs. It's just so radically outside their paradigm that it's like,
yeah,
like they'll short circuit if they really entertain that idea.
right.
Definitely.
And that's a conversation I've had with friends before. Like, I welcome skepticism. You know, people who have a healthy level of like unsurety about it, I totally welcome that. But it's those that are 100% saying absolutely not, ghosts don't exist, fairies don't exist, cryptoids don't exist. I'm just like, are you so egotistical to think you know everything about the universe to say that there is 0% chance of these entities existing? And that's what I try to like say to them. I always think of that Friends episode when Ross is trying to convince Phoebe of evolution, right? And
Mhm.
Phoebe's just like, you can't even possibly consider that maybe evolution isn't the answer, like even a little bit. And he does, and all of a sudden he's like, you know what? You're right. And she's like, whoa, you just gave up your entire like lifetime of knowledge in a second out of doubt.
Yeah.
But it's true, because it's like, how can you say that you know everything about the universe to have 100% certainty
Right.
that these entities don't exist? How is that possible?
Right.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the people that are standing behind like, well, science says there's no scientific evidence and stuff. It's like, you haven't looked hard enough. There's like a ton of evidence, and there are people that like, there are whole sectors of this community that have a ton of evidence. And this is like really hard scientists doing the work. This isn't just theoretical physics. This is like they're finding out that a lot of the things the mystics thought of or believed, like they're finding that, yeah, there's scientific evidence for that stuff. So
Right.
it's like, I don't know, to be a full, like to be skeptical or to have like critical thinking about things, that's good. But when you're just gonna straight up be a disbeliever and not even entertain ideas, then that's where it gets kind of lame.
It really does, because
Yep.
you have to think like the leading scientists of the world just not too long ago in the span of history thought the earth was flat. And it's like, how are you so like to think that in 2024, like we're advanced, but like there's still so much more to learn. Like we could be wrong about so much. Like how can you be so certain about things as a scientist?
Yeah.
I
There was a point where I think the patent office, they were like, okay, time to close the patent office. We've invented everything. And this was like 1890s or something like that. It's like, nope. Still got
No.
further.
Look at that. You're still coming in on Monday.
Yeah, right.
Call back, but the pesky telephone. Edison, stop calling.
Dad.
Oh.
So, talking about your abilities and what you do when you go to locations, what are some things, because I know like what I do if I go on an investigation and when I come home, so what are some of the things that you do to either prepare yourself or afterward decompress after you do a reading and do what you do so well?
Well, with going into a location, I figured out pretty quickly. Okay, well, actually, I should explain what I do with like my YouTube stuff, my YouTube channel. I um I go to I ride around the Western United States and go to haunted or weird locations, and I just tune in and see what I pick up. And I will often get EVPs along with um, the psychic impressions I get, and they often corroborate each other. So when I first started doing this, I would approach it like a paranormal investigator, and you go in and you do the typical thing, if there's anybody here, would you like to speak with me? Can you say your name? Can you tell me this? You know, all of those kind of things. And pretty quickly, I was getting EVPs that are like, "Who is this guy? What's he doing? Like, what does he want? Why is he talking to himself?" Oh, he's filming. Like, I think he's lonely. All this stuff like that, because I just go in and I start trying to interview ghosts or tune in or whatever without telling them who I am. So, like for paranormal investigators, the thing to do is when you get on a location, explain what you're doing, explain what you want from them. I will usually ask them, like, round up everybody else that's around and bring them over so they can be involved, because I want everybody involved. And then I explain that, like, as we're finishing up, my team of spirit guides will assist you with anything you need. They'll help you go up or help you with whatever it is you need. And so they know that, okay, I'm going to address their needs, and we can hang out for 20 minutes or whatever and do a psychic session. They can give me EVPs, all this stuff. Um, and then they'll get help at the end. So it's kind of sets it up for an easy situation where they know what's expected of them and like what's going to happen. And so it works a whole lot better than the like, who is this guy? All of that beginning stuff. They'll still have like side conversations. They're amazed with GoPros and stuff like that, like because it's this new technology, this tiny camera, and it's like, well, that's an amazing camera. And so I don't know, cool stuff with that. I forgot where we were going with this. Oh, and then winding down, like after a reading or after doing something like this, I'm like kind of um, I'm a bad psychic, but a bad medium, because I don't fully shut down ever. I think I'm always kind of open, and when I'm shut down, I don't feel normal. Just because my whole life I've been kind of open. And so it's like if I shut down, I'm like missing a sense. Like I can't hear or something like that. And so I don't really do shutting down like that. Um, and I also tend to draw a lot of attachments and stuff like that, because I don't fully take care of that situation. And I think I've kind of, I don't know, that's also probably been something I've done all my life too. I've had spirits around and spirits leeching off my energy or trying to manipulate me and get me to do things or whatever at certain times. And I'm pretty aware of it. So I can catch it when it's like, wow, I want to have a drink before work today. Like, this is weird. Like, it's 6 a.m.
Mm,
It's like, oh, okay, where did this guy come from?
right.
Or whatever. Or wow, I felt really sick or I felt really depressed lately. Let me kind of tune in and see what's going on. And it's like, yeah, there's somebody there that's attached in my field that's trying to get me to feel that same way, or just hanging out with me or whatever. And so I would suggest to most people, you want to try to cut off those kinds of situations. It's not healthy, all that stuff, but I don't know, I'm lazy or something.
I was just gonna say,
I'm not good at this part.
do you think you can prevent that from happening, like,
Um,
completely for yourself, or
I think once you open yourself up to stuff, you're kind of open to it. You
Mm,
can ground yourself and you can put up shields, and that will keep things from coming in, but that also affects um, like the fidelity that you have with receiving information also. So I've done this for other people, like they've had problems with something or a spirit in their house or something like that, or a spirit in a neighboring apartment or something like that. And I'm like, okay, let's work on this. And so I do something, and they're psychic to a point, and I have basically, expanded a like shields around their space or in their rooms and stuff like that. And I've done that, and we've actually done this where I'm like, there's a person separating our communication between us two, and so there's like I'm a third person to the main person,
mhm,
so I'm not actually talking to them, and they're not actually talking to me. They're talking through a intermediary, and like the moment I put the shield up, they're reporting like I feel like I can't breathe. Like it
mhm,
feels like totally oppressive because there's you've basically bubbled me up.
right.
And so like we can all kind of feel what's going on in our space. I can't even remember what I was asked. I'm such a spaz. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Good.
You
Okay.
actually wound up touching on our next question was
Mhm,
in regards to we saw on your website that you do offer a service to help with unwanted attachments and energies and blockages. So we were just curious, like how does one obtain those and what techniques you use to get rid of them? You kind of touched on that a little bit. Maybe the blockages is intriguing to me. What do you mean by an energetic blockage?
Um it's like I've had this at certain points. It's like you're going about your psychic work or whatever, and then you feel like all of a sudden you can't function, you can't see things or you can't hear things all of a sudden. And I would call that a block. Or I mean, there are probably a whole lot of different kinds of blocks you have, but let's say you're used to seeing, or let's go easier. You're used to feeling spirits or feeling energies. Like you can tell if somebody's like in your room behind you over here, and that's living, or somebody who's invisible, right? And then suddenly it feels like you aren't able to do that anymore. It feels like you're blocked from receiving this information, or you're blocked from being able to um, use your energy in certain ways or whatever. With how that works, sometimes you are supposed to be blocked because like you're going through something right now and you need to keep your energy for yourself. You need to not expend it on other people or whatever, or you need to focus or whatever. Sometimes it's to protect you from something outside of yourself. So these are things that might happen. I worked with somebody who uh, they had worked with they were a psychic medium. They were an energy worker, and they had worked with somebody a long time ago, and all of a sudden they couldn't like connect up. Like you go into meditation and you can ground down, or you can kind of light up or connect upwards, and they felt like they couldn't connect up anymore. And so I get into my meditative state, and I turn on and start tuning into what they're doing, like tuning into them and their field. And I see that there's basically this shield that's been put above them. This, to me, it looks like, just like a metallic disc the size of a like manhole cover or something like that. and we figure out that that was something that another medium or another energy worker put on them to try to help them, like years and years before. And I was able to remove that energetically. Now that's where it gets really weird. It works though. And I think, like, I will just use my intention to try to move that thing out of the way. I will also be working with their guides and asking their guides to remove whatever it is. And they, like, I ended up solving that. There was somebody else I worked with recently. This was more of we went into it with like more of like a general kind of reading. They said they were having some sort of blockages or whatever. And I don't like to get any information in advance because that will color my impressions. I'll start creating my own things to put in there, or my using my own imagination and coming up with stuff if I start to do this beforehand. So I don't want the information. So anyway, I will just start scanning this person, and I'll see them as a silhouette and start just kind of scanning down their system, and I'll get impressions of stuff, and things will be put into my mind, like oh, citrus allergy. And they're like, yes, I had a citrus allergy when I was a kid. And then I see, like, I will get impressions of, like, I don't know, we'll just say an orange, and it has little lines going to it, and it's going to the shoulders, and it's like, okay, I'm seeing an orange. So I'm guessing this is your citrus allergy. And it has a line that's kind of connecting to your shoulder, like right here. And they're like, oh, yeah, I have this nerve pain in my shoulders right here or whatever. And by going through this stuff, we become aware of whatever it is. So it has like less of an impact on us. And then also, like, I can be like, okay, I'm going to remove this line through using intention, and I'll sit there and I'll watch it, and I might have to struggle with it a little bit, but I'll be like, if this is meant to be removed, first of all, let me try to remove this. And slowly I'll be removing these lines and removing this orange and handing it off to a spirit guide or letting it dissolve or something. So, I mean, it's that kind of thing. And I'll see the weirdest things in people's auras, and they are things that relate to the person. Like, why do you have gloves with, you have, the pinky finger is cut off in this glove, and that comes up, and that's some sort of weird reading thing that has to do with their childhood. So
It's
yeah.
interesting.
So essentially, like, when you're seeing these, you're looking at cords, energetic cords, right? So when you hear people talk about cord cutting and removal, that's kind of what you're referring to, those energetic cords.
Yeah, sometimes. And I think everybody has like something that we'll see with everybody is, okay, we have chakras.
Mhm.
And chakras going up the center of our body. I haven't seen anybody without chakras. I think I've even seen chakras with animals. Like in a dog, I think I saw chakras. But yeah, I'll see chakras. I will see, I don't necessarily see an aura. I mean, I can, like, if you hold your fingers together, like, let me get a spot. If you hold your fingers together like this with a background, you can try like a white background or a dark background or whatever, and you start to go like really tight together, or go wider, you can actually see at some point there will actually be, like, you can see energy flowing between your fingers. And I think everybody can do that. And I don't think it's a optical illusion. I think that's real.
Mhm.
of course, we've only got our own experiences to go by. Like, I can't tell that you can see that or not, but like, we have an aura, and I'm sure that if I focused really hard, I could see the aura, but I don't typically see that. So I think people have chakras. I think people have an aura. I think there's like energy in a body or in the body shape. And that's usually a light or even shadowy. And I don't necessarily think that one is bad, or like, I should probably say, I don't think that like shadows or dark colors are bad necessarily. So like, because I'll see dark shadows or really bright things cruising around. So yeah. And then there are also chords, and chords will connect to other people or connect to things in the environment or things around you. And so that's where, like, I think cutting cords is good, because it's like a two-way energy connection between you and somebody else. And people, because we're unaware of doing it, we don't realize we've connected cords to other people.
Mhm.
And they can be good or bad. And usually it's like a good thing to cut cords with somebody that is in your past that you didn't get along with, or you don't need to necessarily be connected with. And like, mental and emotional energy will move through this cord between you and the other person. And if you've ever heard the term energy vampire, it's like somebody that basically leeches on, and they have this cord attached to you, and they're basically drawing energy from you, and it's just exhausting. And so you can, using your intention, you can cut these cords. You can see it however you want to see it, and have your intent to be to disconnect this cord. You can take, imaginary scissors and cut it, or you can unplug it, unplug it like an electric cord or something like that, and let it go away, let it dissolve. And I think you can do this with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Even your loved ones. Like, just go ahead and cut all the cords, and the people you're supposed to be connected with, the people you want to be connected with, those cords will be reattached really quickly. And your friend or whoever it is going to be like, hey, I was just out of the blue, thought I should give you a call. Is everything okay? And it's like, yeah, I just cut cords.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. It's a good standard practice to have. Like, even for the most random stuff, like yesterday I was in a store, and the girl who checked me out, she was snarky and she annoyed me. And as soon as I walked out, I was like, I cut that cord because you put me in a bad mood, like she was
You
just
tell
like,
her to her face.
she was
You.
I cut you. Your cord is cut. But like,
Nice.
sometimes you just run into a person that just gives you bad mojo, and you're just like, I don't like that. Shake it off. Cut the cord.
Yeah.
That's all really good. Yeah. That whole like shake it off kind of feel.
Yeah.
You can also ground out any of that energy coming in. You can just ground it out, and it's really good. Like, you just see it go into the earth. Or if you're like really having trouble with it, touch a tree. Like really touch a tree, and a tree will just take it out and just ground it for you.
Our poor trees.
Yeah.
Especially these days, these trees must be exhausted. They're like, Jesus, guys, y'all need to chill, okay? Because much.
It's funny
bad
too,
energy.
because I feel like so many people are just not aware that they carry so much energy, but then other energy sticks to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It actually affects a lot of people's moods. Like, I've witnessed this time and time again, especially with coworkers over the years, and I'm just like, are you okay? Like, I'm this close sometimes to telling some people, like, go hug a tree.
Yeah.
Like,
you kind of want to like pick gnats off them, where you're just like, get that off of you, get that off of you, just Wipe that
Yeah.
all off.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think a lot of empaths or people that have major social anxiety, I think they're just feeling what's going on with all of the people around them.
Oh, sure.
Because it's like, yeah, put up a wall, put up a barrier, and like try to stay away. Like, because you can't pull the gnats off. You can't like pick off the little bits. Like, because you would forever be doing that. That's like all you could focus on.
Right.
Becomes this weird OCD psychic healer person running around and everybody you see. Yes.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, you gotta just put up a wall. And then also you don't, like, for me, I don't want to do anything to anybody that they aren't asking my permission to do, or I'm not asking their permission to do, because that's overstepping my bounds. Like a lot of the psychics, the Caputo and the psychics that go up to somebody and they're like, hey, you just lost an aunt. And they're like, what? And then they go into this psychic reading or whatever. People aren't ready for that. And that's like not necessarily, I don't think that's like, it's not good policy, because you need to get permission before you like blow somebody's mind or like do some major healing, because whatever it is they might have to deal with, that might be part of their program for this life.
Right.
And
So
everyone
yeah.
processes things differently. So
Yeah.
you can't assume everyone would be like open to that. Would
Yeah.
never assume that.
Yeah.
I like to think on the TV shows, the producers ask them permission like off camera first, because I'm like, there's no way they're just walking up to somebody in the deli. You know what I mean? Like that would be so rude. And imagine like I can't imagine not everyone's open to it. Like if she just walks up to somebody or he walks up to somebody randomly and starts talking to them, especially these days with the amount of high tension in the world, you're going to get slapped down every once in a while, where they're going to be like, get away from me, crazy person. You know, like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the shows they probably have a big poster that's right there saying we are filming. If you go, if you go in this space, you're agreeing to be part of the show.
Yeah.
So they've kind of got a little bit of a heads up, but yeah, like you can't just run around doing that, because there are too many reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I would even take that one step further, though, because to me, I've run into people, especially in the paranormal circles and industry, that are very attuned to energies. And I feel like sometimes they almost invade my privacy in a conversation, trying to read me as we're talking. Like they're trying to, like, instead of just using social cues, like I feel like they're trying to pick up on my vibes, my energy, my emotions, and my intentions without asking me permission first, you know? And I understand if some people are like energy sensitive and they don't know how to control it yet, but these are people who are professionals that I could tell as I'm talking to them, they're trying to like get through my bubbles. And I'm like, no, I did not tell you you could do that. You know? And it's almost like reading my energetic diary. Like that is so rude to try to like read me without asking first. It annoys me in our industry when people do that. I'm just being honest. It drives me bonkers.
Yeah, for sure. I totally get that. You know what, where I've seen that the most are the mediums that are less experienced and mean well. Like they totally mean well. But yeah, I mean, it's like they're putting in a lot of effort to get into like through your energy field or to get a reading or whatever. And it's like, yeah, just back off. Like that's not helpful. And it is, was it unprofessional? Having trouble here.
Yeah,
You're good.
So, okay.
Hey, it is Friday.
Yeah. Most gonna make up words. It's fine, right?
It's also the night before a full moon, so I feel like that just messes with everyone's brains.
I think so, for sure. Yeah, for sure. You'll see it out in traffic mostly. You'll see that, like, yeah,
Oh,
full moon, nobody can handle it right now.
yeah, especially over here in Jersey. Let me tell you, it's not good.
No, we're already crazy drivers to begin with. Add the full moon into it, and you're taking your life in your hands every time you go on the road.
I saw a person yesterday. We're on 80, right? We're on a major highway, and literally going 70, 75, they went on the shoulder to go around someone in the slow lane. And I'm
Ooh.
like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, what is this, World War III? Like, I'm not understanding.
What are you running from, sir? Like, where are you trying to go?
Yeah, where's the helicopter? There's got to be a helicopter.
And should I follow? If you're going to that extreme, should I be behind you?
Yeah,
What's
where are you
going on?
Was it a
What are
white
you running
Bronco?
to?
And not for nothing, go figure, they were in an Audi SUV. So
Oh,
just saying.
those Audi drivers.
I know.
I drive an out. No, I don't. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
So we have a ton of questions that we haven't gotten to yet, but that's
Speed
okay,
round.
because we're happy to have you back at some point. We're not done yet, but I am going to jump around a little bit, because just to kind of like touch on a few questions. So earlier you mentioned spirit guides, right? When you're doing your energetic work.
Yes.
And this is something I am like especially curious about, since you seem to be very connected to yours. So this is kind of a two-part question. First part being, what advice can you give to somebody who's trying to get to know who their spirit guides are? And second question is, do you believe spirit guides can be multiple entities? Could they be animals, angels, intergalactic energies, interdimensional energies? Like, what are your theories and understanding of that?
Okay. Spirit guides, who they can be and can't be. According to me, here we go. The spirit guides that I have are, I've got a diverse group, and they're always changing. Early on, I had like one or two spirit guides, and they were human spirits. And then I ended up jumping the shark, and I needed the full angels to come in and help out and stuff like that. And I've had things that I don't know what they were. So I think like spirit guides can be all sorts of things. I don't think well, I don't know. I haven't had an experience with an animal spirit guide. I've had animals that are looking out for me, but I haven't like received information from them necessarily. I've had them show up like multiple times, and I think they've been there more in a um, protective role, because I think we might have different spirit guides depending on who we are. Most people probably only need one spirit guide watching out for them, because they haven't asked for help from a spirit guide or asked to work with a guide. And I think you have to be explicit in your asking a guide to work with you. And you've got somebody who's assigned with you before you're born, and they're with you after you pass over. And so I think with that, in that case, you don't have like ex-loved ones as your spirit guide. Like, your grandma is probably not your spirit guide, because I think we probably need somebody who is who knows more than somebody else who would have been sharing time on the earth with you at the same time. Your grandma can come and totally work with you and help you and watch out for you, but I think that's like a secondary role or something, and they probably aren't with you 24/7 like your spirit guide might be. And it's not like your spirit guide, like I probably don't have a spirit guide hanging out over here, like, texting like, what, come on, get through this thing or whatever. um I'm assuming they're like doing their thing and they're on call or something, or like, oh yeah, we're gonna have some weird stuff happen tonight, so we'll make sure to everybody be here 15 minutes early, and so we can help protect Brett or guide him or whatever. We've got these things on the calendar. I don't know how it works, but I don't think they're necessarily with you all the time, and your grandma is definitely not with you all the time. They've got stuff to do. Um, and I think that's a true statement. I do think spirits who've crossed over and basically everybody over there has something to do. If you're earthbound, an earthbound spirit or a ghost, you might not have a whole lot to do. And so that's why you're interested in what's going on with the living, or you're um, becoming like an attachment or something like that. You're hanging out and you're invading somebody's space because you don't have a whole lot going on. So there's that part. And then how do you connect with your spirit guides? How do you get to know them better? One thing that's a bummer for a lot of people, spirit guides typically in the beginning don't care what you call them. You don't have to know their name, because like that kind of interferes with it. Also, you don't need to see what they look like. You don't need to get those impressions or whatever, because that might interfere with the messages or the information you're getting. So, mostly it's you ask them to be involved and participate in your life. So you can do that in your head or you can do it out loud. And it's, they know you. So you can be casual. You don't have to like do some sort of weird chant or anything. Being in a meditative state is good because you're able to hear and probably express yourself a little better than if you're doing other things. But yeah, you just ask your guide to be involved with you. Say, yeah, I would like to meet you. And usually the best way to do it at first is to see if they'll come to you in a dream, because you aren't like, you'll be more aware in a dream and or less restrictive in a dream. Let's see what else. Another thing you can do is like ask them to show themselves to you. So I did that early on. I was like, I want to see you. And like, I got the impression of, I don't necessarily want to share who my guides are or what they do. Not that like, it's like, oh, Mother Teresa is my guide. Like, that's not what I mean. But I think there's a privacy element to names. I get that a lot when I'm doing a recording. My guides say to not use names, so no recorded names. So I'm going to just kind of expand that over to talking about guides. So anyway, let's say my guide is a cowboy. So I ask to see, I want to see what you look like or see your picture or whatever. And, I get a National Geographic or whatever, and there's a picture. Actually, that would be somewhere where you would expect to see a cowboy, but I get an ad for, I don't think there's anywhere where you don't expect to see a cowboy in the mail or whatever. But I opened up this thing and I saw what my guide would be. And it was a very, very specific thing that you wouldn't expect to see in this magazine or in this whatever. But yeah, I mean, they'll show up in your life, or you'll hear a song that like describes them absolutely perfectly or gives you a message.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Good advice.
Yeah. Okay.
I know I've tried to get who my guides are, and it's like they'll show me like a picture of like a rose, and I'm like, all right, guys, like your funny.
Guide is a bee.
Yeah. You know what? Go with it. Go with it. And for like, keep working with it and just accept, okay, a rose. Like we'll go with that. And so you start going with, yeah, my guide's a rose. And you talk to your guide and you start developing a relationship with them. And eventually they will replace that rose with something that is more appropriate, or actually probably more realistic.
Right.
Or they've decided that rose is like a super kick-ass way of giving you information, because it's like, oh wow, this rose needs more water, and this rose is a little dim, and oh, there's this spotlight shining on it, or aphids or whatever, and you start getting information through that kind of imagery.
Yeah.
Like there's so I know that Brittany and Gail, you have both talked kind of about being psychic in a way. Kara, is that how you say your name? Like,
Yes, Kara.
Okay. And are you psychic also? I mean, are you all practicing?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You're my peeps.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
yeah.
like you said, everyone's psychic, right?
Yeah.
It's just whether or not you tap into it or know how to develop it. Like I probably, in comparison to Brittany and Kara, I'm on the lower end of the spectrum.
Yeah, bye.
They're very sensitive to energies, where I think I'm still in that phase of like rationalizing things away from time to time and not trusting myself, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's the best, actually. I mean, being super critical of everything coming in, as long as you can immediately let that go. Like, is that an insect that just flew past my face, or was that something else? Like, it's better to ask instead of like, no way, ghost, OMG ghost every time there's dust in the picture or whatever. Like,
There's always
yeah,
orbs.
exactly. So, yeah. So like I was going to just say, like, since you're all psychic, I don't know if you've heard of this this way of doing a reading. Like, see the person as a house, and you just start with the front yard and like say, okay, this person's a house. And so what is the front yard like? And you go into the house, and like, what's the door like, and what's the bottom floor, and how's it feel, and all this stuff. And you look around, you can get such a cool reading just on like doing a house. And it's like, whoa, the basement's flooded. What's going on here? I mean, like, you can get crazy accurate readings with just doing something like that. And that's kind of what the whole rose idea reminded me of. So
I've never heard that.
I usually do, when I do dream exploration, that's how usually I start. Like, I'll go into the deep meditative state, and I start with a house. And
cool.
And then I go into the house, and then depending on the room and where I go upstairs, and what I see and who I see, and it lends to a lot of different readings. Like, if I go into the garden and I dig into the garden, and what do I find in the garden, and who is in the garden with me, and and then what does that, where almost like what you were also even saying with the rose, like, are there aphids on the rose? Well, if I go into the garden and I see my old Aunt Edna, and I'm digging in the garden, and it becomes, it weaves together a reading and a story that I might not have gotten in a different state, and in a different kind of way that I would connect with somebody.
Okay. So that's, exactly. That's it. Mm-hmm. So super cool.
It's kind of like applying the theory to yourself as opposed to somebody else.
Right.
Oh yeah. Correct. I mean, you can do it for whatever, probably. I mean, I don't know if you can diagnose car problems by like, oh, okay, let me tune into this car and see, like, present it as a house. Right. I've actually done that with a person. Instead of using a house, I used a motorcycle, because I'm intimately fond of motorcycles. So like, it's like, oh wow, there's something going on with the carburetor. Like, oh, is that a throat, something going on with the throat or the breathing, and it's crazy how accurate you can be with something like that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, we didn't even get a chance to talk about your paranormal road trip YouTube series. So we'll have to touch on that next time if you're open to having another conversation with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always excited to talk about paranormal stuff, and you've been fun.
We try. And we still have a whole slew of questions.
Yeah, like we do a whole outline, and we definitely didn't touch on like probably 2/3 of them, but
Yeah,
in
we
a good
totally
way.
went off script. Totally off
Definitely.
script.
But that's good. I love it. Those are the best conversations. But so we are going to start wrapping up a little bit, and the one question that we love to end every Q&A with is what we call your oh shit moment. And basically what that is when we feel like everyone who's interested in the paranormal, they kind of believe in it, they're kind of like doing their thing, maybe investigating, then something happens to them where they're like, oh shit, this is real. Like, guys, this stuff is real. So what is that for you? What is your moment where you realize like, okay, this is no joke and this stuff actually exists?
Well, when I was a kid, I mean, I grew up with this stuff, so it wasn't totally far out, but like the first time I was getting EVPs, I think that was one of those oh shit moments where it's like there was nobody here to answer this, and it's clear as day what this is saying, and like it's mind-blowing. Like, I recorded a voice from somebody from somewhere else, and that's one of those oh shit moments right there. And yeah, it's mind-blowing to get that kind of crossover, like something definitely in this world um from that world.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
EVPs, it always comes back to the basics, right? Just a
I think
simple
so.
EVP can blow your mind.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, at this point in time, this is when we kind of ask you, like, is there anything you would like to promote or share while we're wrapping things up that you would like to our audience to know about?
Well, go check out my YouTube channel, and if you are interested in a session with me, and my sessions are usually guided by the other side, and they've kind of shifted from your general reading where you're just answering questions about career or health or whatever. They've kind of shifted into me coaching with how to do this stuff, and then also cleansing and clearing of energies that you don't want in your system or involved with you. So if you're interested in that, you can find me on my website or check out my YouTube channel and go subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And are you going to leave the link for that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be in the
Excellent.
description.
Excellent.
For those who've been watching, the link has been scrolling along the bottom of the screen, but if you don't see it there, check the description of the video. We'll also have the link there for Brett's website. Again, thank you so much, Brett. It was an amazing conversation. It was so much fun. We really appreciate you having you here. Anyone, if you have any more questions that you would like to ask pertaining to today's video or future videos, please leave a comment, drop a comment, or send us a DM. Please also remember to subscribe to our page if you don't already. Click the little bell to get notifications on future videos, and like, comment, share, all the fun stuff that you can do on YouTube. Thank you, everyone, for spending this time with us, and we hope to see you soon. And don't forget to stay curious.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Bye.